In times when something called the New Land League moves to prevent an eviction from a mansion in Killiney, it might be a good opportunity to remind ourselves about the Old Land League, an organisation whose aim was to protect poor tenant farmers and ultimately abolish landlordism. The context for its formation in 1879 was a worldwide economic depression accompanied by one of those periodic Irish agricultural crises. Things were so bad, especially in the west of Ireland, that many actually feared the return of famine on a scale last seen in the 1840s, all the more so as the potato crop failed for 3 years in a row in the late 1870s. The usual vicious circle that governed Irish agriculture returned with a vengeance. Tenant farmers were so impoverished they couldn't pay their rents and feed their families at the same time. Landlords reacted by evicting defaulters. Secret societies responded with violence against the property and personnel of the landlords. The Royal Irish Constabulary took appropriate action against known troublemakers, whether they'd actually done anything or not. The government abolished habeas corpus, allowing it to arrest and hold whoever it wanted without charge. We'd seen it all before. But this time it was different. Enter Michael Davitt. Born in Mayo and brought up in the mills of Lancashire, where he lost an arm in an industrial accident, Davitt had joined the Fenian movement and spent some hard years in Dartmoor prison, much of it in solitary confinement. After his release, he tired of the ideological purity of the IRB leadership, which opposed socially progressive movements on the basis that they tended to distract and to depress revolutionary ardour. Davitt abandoned his former allies and sought a means to improve the appalling situation of tenant farmers in his native Mayo. The origins of a new agrarian movement can be traced to a public meeting on the 20th of April 1879 in Irishtown, County Mayo. Davitt was one of the organisers, but stayed away because he was a ticket of leave prisoner out on probation. In August of the same year, Davitt was instrumental in the establishment of the Land League of Mayo. One of the first successes of this new agrarianism was a campaign against a landowning Catholic priest, Father Ulick Burke from Knock, who was threatening evictions against his tenants. A campaign of non-payment of rent forced him to withdraw the threat and to reduce his rents by a quarter. The founding later that year of the Irish National Land League and the agreement of an up-and-coming nationalist politician, Charles Stewart Parnell, to lead the organisation can be said to mark the beginning of the 3-year cycle of political activism and agrarian violence that's known as the Land War. The most famous victim of the activities of the Land League was the land agent Charles Boycott. Parnell had advocated a policy of civil disobedience in the face of obstinate landowners and suggested that belligerent opponents should be sent to what he called a moral Coventry. Boycott was the most spectacularly successful victim of this policy, so much so that this practice of ostracism became known as boycotting. A lot snappier than moral Coventry, I'm sure you'd agree. The Land League was formally suppressed in 1882 and morphed into the Irish National League, a Parnellite organisation with rather different priorities, which means the copyright on the name had expired so that anyone could use it, hence its reappearance at the gates of a well-appointed mansion on Gorse Hill in Killiney, County Dublin in April 2015. Would Michael Davitt have approved? Well, he didn't have a say in the matter, did he? The Irish National Land League, an organisation created to protect the impoverished and the virtually destitute, was founded 137 years ago on this day.